Hello and welcome. This is the first instructional video in, I hope, a series of videos that will cover Pixopedia 2014 features and possibilities. As you may notice from the version number here, 009, Pixopedia is still in development stage, so please keep that in mind, as well as the fact that English is not my mother tongue. Anyway, I hope that you'll be able to follow this presentation and get the picture about the general Pixopedia concept. Okay. We have started Pixopedia, and now what? There is an empty working space, 4 panes and some buttons. Initially Pixopedia started with drawing action on. This is the first button on the left pane, which is pressed down. And here on the status bar you can see which action is currently on. Also, initially this button is pressed down, which indicates that standard shapes are on. So we will focus on drawing action with standard shapes. There are 3 most important factors that determine Pixopedia behavior in use. It's action, shape and brush. So in this video we will cover simple drawing with freehand shape, and we will examine some of basic brush parameters. Now we want to draw something. We must open or create a new image. We will create a new image by pressing this button. Okay, we will put some image size here. We will use initial color white and as a background, and we will use opaque, not transparent image. Okay, we'll accept. Now position your mouse somewhere on the image newly created and press left mouse button, hold it down and draw some stroke. Nothing spectacular. Now press undo button to clear our drawing. We can always redo our drawing back, undo again, so on. Now we will draw stroke again, and now we will release mouse button and press number 2 on your keyboard. As you may notice, we have changed our brush from number 1 to number 2. We will draw, release, press number 3, 4. We can also change our brush from the set of 9 predefined brushes using the mouse. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we will revert the image, actually rewind it to the beginning of undo buffer. Here we can still go back by stepwise redo. We will clear again. This button will also perform fast forward redo, but this feature is not yet implemented. Okay, now we will go back and choose brush number 1. Now we will draw a stroke without releasing left mouse button, and we will change our brush on the fly. Now hold and draw with the brush number 1, then press keyboard letter number 2, 3, 6, 4, 5, 9, 8, whatever you want. Now keyboard shortcuts comes very handy when you want to change your brush tip on the fly. However, Pixopedia treats brush changes as individual strokes, so we can now undo each stroke individually. Okay. Well, we will go back to brush number 1. This was the usage of freehand shape. When we press a right mouse button, we'll get available shapes for standard shapes mode, and those shapes we will cover in one of the next tutorials. For now we will stick with the freehand shape, and now we will explore a little bit about brush parameters. We will click on the brush button here on the right pane. A form is opened with parameters connected to selected brush tip. Selected brush from this set of 9 brushes. Here, when we are changing our brush, we'll get the parameters for each brush from this brush set. We can change anything on current brush, from brush tip, pen size, capacity, other parameters, color, and we can save single brush, load single brush. We can save complete brush set, of course after we change some parameters and adjust brush parameters according to our needs, and load brush set as we need. Every brush set has its name, description, something like that, complete set, test set, etc. Now we will examine some of basic brush parameters. We have here 4 tabs. We will stick with basic. First of all, we can change brush tip type. We can use solid brush, spray, some other type of brush. We'll go back to brush. Now pen size, it's actually a brush tip diameter. We will increase it to see how it works. Here. Capacity, or sometimes called opacity, gives us a percentage of maximum brush capacity, so it's more transparent. Here, when we decrease it, it's almost completely transparent. We will clear all, turn back to 100%. This slider color variation tells us the range of color variation, nominal color variation. So each pixel is randomly varied in the range specified by this value. Size variation performs the same thing as color variation, but it's applied to size. Size is always size variation goes always downward and not over the nominal value, but between minimum value, which is 1, and specified pen size value. Here you can draw, see, we can increase. If we decrease, size variations are less visible. Capacity variation, same thing, however it applies on brush capacity. Here. And of course the last one, basic common parameter, is the step, which is actually the distance between two subsequent brush tips measured in pixels, from center of one brush to the center of sequent brush tip. We will increase some kind of warm. We increase again. We can perform some skin-like drawing. We will return back and press set the step to value of 2. I'm using always the value of 2 because there is no much difference between step value 1 and step value 2, and step value 2 is much faster. Okay. Now we have here a specific brush parameter. As you may notice, every brush has its the same common parameters and different specific parameters. New brush specific parameters deals with brush fall off. Now linear fall off, when we draw brush tip, tells us the way fall off tells us the way how the intensity of a brush tip falls down from the brush tip center to the brush tip border. This is a linear fall following the line. We will show this with one example. Now when 100% fall off is used, brush intensity falls down from the center of the brush tip linearly towards the border. It's a cone shape. Here is the maximum value 255, minimum value of 0. When we decrease the value to, let's say, 50%, we will get something like this. 50% of brush tip goes in fall off from 250 to 0. This part here, and the middle part, the rest of 50%, which is actually again 50%, is set to maximum value. We will see the difference here. An example. This is 100%. Now here is say 50%. 1% actually gives us completely solid stroke. We will go back to 100. Quadratic fall off actually performs quadratic fall off. The intensity of brush tip mask is falling down from the center, following the square curve. Here is an interesting one. This is intensity fall off following the trigonometrics function. I will show this. We will set frequency to 6. Small stroke. You'll see that there are concentric circles. Here is the fall off curve. If we increase it, we'll get more concentric circles. And this type of brush doesn't have too much sense when drawing with small step values. However, it has sense when the step values are high. Or we can use ellipse to draw some kind of necklace or something like that. Now we will close this image, go back to freehand, set the brush to step 2, go to linear. Now we will skip advanced features and JGS rules and go to color scheme. I think this part is interesting. We can pick color here for primary color as well as secondary color. Now, you may notice that brush primary color is immediately changed on the status bar. Now, if we draw with primary color, which is set in painting scheme, we'll go to blue stroke. If we draw with secondary color, we'll get some kind of orange stroke. Now alpha mix primary secondary color mixes blue and the primary and secondary color using brush mask intensity. So we'll get middle of the stroke will be blue and the borders will be, let's put it, borders will be reddish. Okay. Now solid mix primary secondary color performs the same thing, however brush is then turned to a solid brush here. So we have a smooth transition between blue and red, but brush is turned to solid, full 255 intensity. Alpha palette is a painting scheme that uses the palette. There is a default internal palette. I have put some autumn colors, lemon colors palettes. In this version of the program there is no possibility for user to create its own palette, but it will be available in future release. Now palette is a set of 255 different colors arranged and indexed from 0 to 255. So an alpha palette actually picks the palette color using brush intensity, brush mask intensity. So here from the center of the brush tip toward the borders, as we have linear fall off, various colors are picked. If we use a solid brush, we ain't gonna get different colors, we will only get the color number 255 because we have used the brush without fall off. Solid palette performs the same thing, similar thing as the solid mix primary secondary. Sorry. Colors are picked according to various brush intensity levels and brush is turned to solid. Now we have a texture line here. This painting scheme uses texture because texture is not set. Brush will be drawn with primary color. Now we will use some texture. We need to open texture browser. We can open it by right click here, where we can open close texture browser. We can also clear texture. This is one way of doing this. The other way is to double click on this area and texture browser will be open. We will select some texture. It's seamless texture, so drawing will be smooth without any breaks on borders. Texture line synchronizes the mouse movement with the position inside texture image, so we get a smooth transitions. It's a very smooth brush. Now we can use texture fixed, which will always reposition virtual mouse on this texture back to the center. Now we get something like this, which is not so useful with small brush steps. However, it has more sense with high brush steps. We will go back to step with value 2. Now we came to the clone image aligned paintings here. If we do, again, if we try to, we will close this by double clicking. If we draw without and we didn't pick any clone image, there will be a message: select image, mouse, move mouse to select image, move mouse to desired position and press C on your keyboard. So we will pick some image, open some image, a nice young lady. We will position the mouse somewhere on the eye, press letter C, clone image selected and start position picked. We will go back to our paper and draw clone image line. Now we will see what happens. If we release the mouse button, Pixopedia remembers the position of mouse and synchronize it with the position on the clone image. We can of course change position and draw another here. Now we will examine another painting scheme with clone image. This is clone image reposition. Now we will draw again, release the mouse button and we will draw again. Now position is always reset after each stroke back to the starting position, which was a point somewhere on the right eye. Again. Clone image fixed is very similar to texture fixed. If we draw with a small step value, we are not going to get anything interesting. Now we will increase step value and we'll get an eye brush. We can do an eye necklace here, so on. Go back to color scheme. Now there is a step palette circular painting scheme, which instead of using brush tip intensity levels as indexes for color, for a palette color, the step counter is used. The step counter begins from value 0 when we press mouse down and goes to 255 in circular manner. We will use lemon colors palette. Now we'll go press mouse down, we go from 0, it's counting 255, then the counter is reset to 0 and goes again from 0 to 255, so on and so on. Okay, step palette forward backward is similar. It goes from 0, the step counter goes from 0 to 255, back to 0 and again forward backward inside the palette. Okay. Another painting scheme is used when you have photography. It's image mouse down color. This is a color. You can watch here the color on the mouse cursor here. it will pick up the color under the mouse on mouse down event and spread this color around. Use this color as a drawing color. We can use this, or you can use a color from the hair. It can come very handy, but not on this image. We can do some. The last one painting scheme is image step color. The color changes as we move our mouse. A new color is picked under the cursor mouse every step. Okay, here we go. Here. Here. So we can do some. A lot of effects can be achieved with this color scheme, however not with this brush tip. Okay, and that's it. The last thing that's left is using the background tile. A background tile is, we will double click on to open texture browser. It's actually also seamless texture, but grayscale texture, not a full color. We can use full color texture, the same one as here, but it will be converted to a grayscale image. It gives us, when we draw, let's say with primary color, on this, let's say white paper, we have a flat surface. Background tile gives us texturized surface, something like this. So we can use various combinations. Also we can use texture in combination with background tile. This feather one is nice. Okay, also we can use an image. Sorry, we will reposition ourselves here. So we can use so-called texturized image drawing, which gives us a nice effects. We can clear this texture. We can load it back again simply by selecting and dragging to appropriate place. So this is the all for this video. First part of drawing action. We can actually show something that will be covered in next video episode. That's in brush bumping. So we can use something that will give us a 3D look. That's picture, and that's all. See you next time. Bye bye.